Hello everyone. So just about 2 months remaining for your Jan 26 exams. Now I'm sure every day before going to sleep you go and tell yourself that यार कल से तो 12 से 14 घंटा पढ़ ही लेंगे. We will crack it. But what happens the next day? Studying for 6 to 7 hours, 3 hours of scrolling and the remaining time spent on guilt. So it is equally important to study more hours, but along with that it is important to fix how to study productively in whatever hours that you are investing. So in today we are going to discuss 4 to 5 important points that you should ensure so that you first productively study and second slowly gradually you increase the hours that you study as well, because this is very important in the build up to your main exams. Okay, so first of all you should plan your day. When I say plan your day, well, going to sleep and waking up is the first thing that you should ensure, because what happens is plan your day, the planning happens the day earlier. Like you go to bed at, for example, 11 o'clock, but you go to bed with your phone and you start scrolling, and by the time you realize the calendar has changed, you are past midnight and a lot of time has gone by, and that disturbs your sleep cycle. So ensure that when you are going to sleep, before you go to sleep, your phone should be far away from you, so that you crash onto the bed after a day of hard work and there you are raring to go in the morning. Now different students, some students prefer to study in the night, some students prefer to study in the morning, you decide, but you plan your routine. You ensure that if your sleeping routine on the last day is set, then your next day is sorted. If your sleeping routine is disturbed, your next day is disturbed. Okay, let us assume you are an early riser and you kind of start studying at 7 o'clock after completing all your morning routine. Now, when you have to prepare, you ensure that when you're planning your day, you kind of cover the breaks. So it is very important that you plan your breaks. So you've started to study, you are in your full josh and momentum, and then what happens? After some time, you kind of start scrolling on your phone, and before you realize, you know everyone's birthday, you have updates of everyone, and time has passed. So ensure that you time your breaks properly. Like for example, for your breakfast, for your lunch, some logical breaks would be there. So you ensure that you time your breaks. So there will be longer breaks, there will be smaller breaks. Typically, I would prefer after every 1 hour of study, you kind of walk around for 5 minutes. Don't touch your phone. Touching your phone, I might sound to be your parents, but I'm sorry to tell you, don't touch your phone during your smaller breaks of 5 minutes. Take a walk around, look outside the window, but that is when it will get over in 5 minutes. Otherwise, वो 5 का 50 होने को time नहीं लगना. Okay? Then when you are taking your larger break, maybe that coincides with your meal times typically, maybe your breakfast, maybe your lunch, maybe your dinner, maybe keep around a little time to kind of scroll if you like, kind of watching that, but you time your breaks properly and ensure that you enforce your break time more diligently than your study time. If your break time is properly enforced, your study time would be done properly. Okay. Now, generally students have this perception that our syllabus is so big, ICI does not do it. ICI is always a villain. Now, in my opinion, your true villain is actually your distractions, and that is your 6-inch phone sitting in your pocket. I mean, I don't know how much that is affecting you, but in general, this is what affects most of the students. So if possible, we are all inherently very lazy. If possible, you ensure that while you're studying, you keep your phone in some other room. I'm not even saying on your desk or anything, in some other room. You're inherently lazy, you will not go. The more difficult is it to fetch. You go in another room, in your cupboard, in a drawer, put it inside. You will try it once. You will not take the effort most of the times to kind of go and take that phone. Otherwise, that phone is actually calling you. Okay, something has to be scrolled, right? Because any tough thing and your momentum breaks. So ensure that you keep your phone away from you for large parts of the day. Then even if you're studying for lesser hours, you'll realize you have studied more productively. Also, if possible, most of you may be watching content online, just change the name of your Wi-Fi password. I mean, you can put anything like D&D, do not disturb, CA practice, CA loading, या फिर अबे पढ़ ले यार, you can put anything which kind of ensures that you, the moment you try to switch that off, you'll be like, yeah, I should not be doing this. And keep that away, and slowly it will ensure that you come back onto your regular track. Remember, clocking this 12 hours, 14 hours is a good milestone if those hours have been productively utilized. If half of this, you are not going to get marks for sitting on the chair for 12 hours. You are going to get your marks even if you do it productively for 8 to 10 hours. That's a better hit. Okay, so ensure that you kind of plan your day, plan your breaks. And I'm not giving you an ideal plan because I know that every student has a different study pattern. If I were to study in your place, I would ensure that every 1 hour I will take a small 5-minute break. After every 3 hours patch, I will take a relatively longer break, maybe for breakfast, maybe for lunch, maybe for my afternoon snack, and maybe then for my dinner. So that will coincide with my proper routine. And the most important thing, I mean, your today's day starts depending on how you ended the earlier day. Your sleep schedule, if it is set, your morning schedule starts properly, and you are going to kind of cover up more hours, and without the phone, with clear focus. I don't need to tell you that why you have started doing C and how you have reached CA final and this is your destiny. You know that. You are very cognizant of the struggles, the efforts that you have put in to reach this stage. You are at the finish line. You are just about there. This is not the time when you're running a marathon. At the end of the marathon, you're not distracted. You are just focusing on completing those last meters in the best possible way, and that should be your clear focus. Also, there is no one hack that will increase your productivity overnight. It happens in small steps. If you want to increase your hours, if let us say you're studying 8 hours, you want to go to 12 hours, does not happen overnight. Ensure that 15 minutes or half an hour you push. If you're studying for 8 hours, go to 8.5, then go to 9, and it will happen. It's like if you have ever worked out, I mean, after you do 10, let's say exercises or 10 reps, the next one is very difficult, but slowly, that is where your stamina is built. Okay, so build up slow. Half an hour or 15 minutes interval, increase your hours, but at the same time, during those hours, what you're doing is of utmost importance. Okay, so ensure that you kind of use your time wisely, prudently, judiciously. You have the entire life for you to kind of spend on the phone. Nothing is changing in those 2 months, but your entire life will change if you kind of use these 2 months properly. Okay, so lots of love and blessings for all of you. Keep on studying hard, and I'll see you soon with more videos. Good luck, goodbye, and take care.